Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done. There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Christopher Media, let's make some noise. Welcome to Beer Nuts, a weekly excursion into the world of craft beer, brought to you by MichiganBeerGuide.com. And now, here are the Beer Nuts.
Welcome to Beer Nuts, episode 166. Today, we are going to honor those who offer pickup and delivery during these pandemic times. So, we've got 6 beer nuts and a 7th that will deliver the news. So 6 great libations to review. So this is JR in just outside of Tucson, Arizona. And my last Untapped check-in is Backstate Bingo, a session mead from Superstition Meadery. It was a vanilla orange, like creamsicle, flavorful beverage that I really enjoyed last night. I checked it in and I gave it a 4 stars. Great session mead from Superstition, Prescott, Arizona. So we're going to move on to the rest of the beer nuts. Welcome Steve V from Los Angeles.
Hello, everybody. My last check-in was from Bottle Logic Brewing. It was Sky Chase. It's a Imperial Double New England IPA, and it came in at an 8.1, and it didn't taste like it, and it was delicious. It was very, very good.
Oh, I had that when I was at the brewery. I might have even given you that can, Steve.
Maybe.
That was a fantastic brew. So, good one. All right, now we're going to head to the East Coast to Ross in Durham, North Carolina.
Yep. Unfortunately, I think I've been a little lazy on Untapped lately. My last thing was from April 8th, which was a Moon Bear Milk Stout from Clown Shoes. So, okay.
That's a good brew. All right, let's go up to the Mitten, to Michigan, to Greg.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Greg here in Dearborn, Michigan. And my last Untapped check-in was from Dogfish Head, their Bourbon Barrel Aged Worldwide Stout, which I paired wonderfully with a double chocolate Ghirardelli brownie. The combo was amazing.
Very nice. Very nice. All right, let's take it a little bit north to Dugout.
Hello, everyone. This is Dugout in Clawson, Michigan. And my last Untapped check-in was Enjoy by 4/20/20, which I gave a 4.25 because that was closest to 420 I could give it. And delicious as always. You can't go wrong with the Enjoy by series. And I actually paired that with some homemade fish and chips, which were delicious.
Awesome. And last but not least, in Royal Oak to John Golden.
Okay. First is I want to ask Doug if he paired that with anything else. You don't have to answer that. Anyways, my last Untapped check-in was a Cornerman Red Ale from Brew Detroit. It was an excellent red ale. It was sweet, malty, slightly grainy, low hop, just real good. Had a little bit of kind of bread, almost some cherry, strawberry kind of fruitiness to it. Very soft. Excellent red ale.
All righty then. Some good beers then, and I'm sure some really good ones coming up soon. So before we get into those beers, we, as always, want to invite everybody to join us. Crack open your favorite beer and join us. We are not pretentious beer snobs. We're just wanting to introduce more good people to more good beer, and we're just a bunch of regular guys that really love good craft beer. So whether you're a Coors Light drinker, maybe looking to expand your horizons, or already a sophisticated craft beer drinker that enjoys multiple styles, or if you're into home brewing, there's something for everybody with the Beer Nut Show. So thank you again for joining us and listening. And we're going to honor again, we're going to feature breweries, and not just breweries, but stores. It's a trying time in the beer business for a lot of folks that serve alcohol and make their living off of whether a pub, a liquor store, any outlet that sells beer. Is the world's kind of turned upside down right now with the current pandemic. We won't name the dreaded virus or anything anymore. That's the last we're going to discuss it tonight, because we're talking about good, positive things like beer. So let's get right into some beers and honor those people that are delivering or offering curbside pickups so that we can enjoy beer during this time. So that being said, let's start this week from the left coast and move west to east. So we're going to start in Los Angeles with Steve V. Take it away, Steve.
Okay, so my selection today is from Boomtown Brewery. They're located in the Arts Districts in Los Angeles. I've done a review of their beer. I think I did a Pils check that they do. But today I am doing their. I guess they had a release just for the people who are locked up in their homes, and it's called Stir Crazy. And it's a hazy IPA. It's a 7.5 ABV, and it is described, I should say, as a. Let's see where their description here on their website. Oh, here you go. So it's brewed with a mosaic, whole melon, and Chinook hops. It's flavored of ripe pineapple, lychee, and Bartlett pear. So those are all lovely fruits that I enjoy. So I was looking forward to trying it. I poured it into my glass already since I knew I was going first, and it's really hazy. It's you can't even see. I'm holding it, and I can't even see my fingers on the other side. And it's really, I don't know how they do it, but it's really light on the bottom, and on the top it blends into this darker kind of golden color. The head on it was really light, wasn't too much of a head. It kind of disappeared as I left it open. My first taste of this. It's really good, nice and smooth. You really get that fruit flavor right away from it. Really sweet. Even though it's an IPA, like it says, it has that sweetness. The flavor of the pineapple is what stands out, and the aftertaste of it gets a little tart towards the end. That when it finish going down your throat. Yeah, very very good. Very very summery drink. I wish we weren't locked inside. Our places, and we can go out and sit in the sun and really enjoy this, because that would be a great sit by the pool or in the park and enjoy these. I can see you pairing this with a really nice picnic, and I think it'll go great with anything in your basket. Great selection. I'm really happy. They were really pleased when I showed up there and picked up the beer, and they were really appreciative of the business, and I think just seeing somebody in person was kind of a thrill also. So not only did I get the beer, but I bought some merchandise for them. So cheers to Boomtown for still doing business. Cheers for bringing out new beer during this time, and like I said, Stir Crazy, but it eased my soul.
Awesome way to support great beer. Great way to kick off. I'm going to go next to Arizona. Before I review my beer, I want to tell you where I got it.
Yeah,
your mic's not working, John.
Better now?
Little.
No.
He'll do anything so he doesn't have to go like early on, won't he?
Oh man.
Is that better?
There you go.
Yes.
Now you're back on.
All right. And if it happens again, tell me, because This thing's got a mind of its own. Hold on, I'm going to do something even different. I'm just going to take this off of the mic because it's been giving us problems. How's that? Is that better?
That sounds good.
Okay. All right. Well, again, thank you for that review, Steve. And we're going to move to Arizona next. Great that you support the local business, and I'm supporting one here. And before I review my beer, I'd like to explain a little bit where I got it. My go-to bottle shop here in Tucson, in downtown Tucson, is Tap and Bottle. I'd like to shout out to Rebecca, who owns and operates with her husband the business, and they have now implemented. They've always had actually online ordering, so you can place an online order and go in, and it's all picked and ready for you. They also will allow you to shop in the store, but they only allow, I think, 1 or 2 people in at a time. And they do have like lines and tape on the floor where you can go, and if you do go in and shop, they actually will not allow you to touch anything. You point to what you want, and they will get it for you because they have gloves, and they're being very, very meticulous about keeping everything clean and sanitary, and going the extra mile to make sure everybody's safe and healthy. So shout out to them for going the extra mile to keep the business going. Another interesting twist to how they're doing business is they do have a great draft lineup always. It's nice to go in and be able to shop for beer and then usually sit at the bar and have a pint, but of course that's not possible these days. However, they did run out of crowlers. So the last time I went in, they actually had 32-ounce mason jars. And I saw a guy walking out. It looked like he had a bottle of Shine or something, but you can buy any of their beers on draft, and since there's no crowlers, they just give you a mason jar, which is pretty cool that they improvise, and they're finding a way to make it work. So shout out to Tap and Bottle. They have two Tap and Bottle locations, one downtown, one on the north side, and then they have a third location that even has some liquor that's called Westbound. I'm not sure if that one's open, but downtown's my go-to spot, and I have placed multiple online orders for pickup. So the beer I'm going to review now is from one of those, and it's called 24K. It's a bourbon barrel-aged imperial coffee stout from Mason Ale Works. Mason Ale Works, I believe, is in California. I don't see. Oh, there it is, San Marcos, California. So maybe Steve V can tell us exactly where that is. Minted on April 31st, 19, which can't be true because there is no such thing as 431. They must put that on there as a joke. ABV 12.5%. Premium Geisha coffee. Aged in Whistle Pig, Jim Beam, and Cutwater spirits barrels for 13 months. Enjoy it 50 degrees in a snifter glass. And I took this out of the fridge about an hour ago, so we should be right about at the perfect temperature. Comes in a 12-ounce can, and it's gold, just like a gold bar, 24 karat. 24K. So, and it says Royal Bank of Mason Ale Works on the can. So let's pour this bad boy out. And I've never seen this anywhere except Tap and Bottle, so thanks. They do always have some really good, sometimes harder to get things there that you won't find at like a Total Wine. So very, very valuable bottle shop for me that I can get, some great beers from. And the other thing I always enjoy doing is whenever I go there, I picked up my online order, and there was a couple other things in the window I decided to buy. So I picked up like a 4-pack container and put pointed to 3 beers where they filled, and I said, Rebecca, you pick the last one. And she always picks a great selection. So great to have a spot like that to shop at. So I just poured this out, brand new. I haven't tasted it yet, never tried it before. It's the head on this thing is actually lingering, which is surprising. It's very, very slowly dissipating, but I probably got a half a finger head that's nice. That's that nice cola beige color, not too dark, not too white. It's just like tan. So now very slowly the head is going down. It's now like paper thin across the top, but nice carbonation level. And I'm getting dark fruits and bourbon. Definitely bourbon barrel influence. And it makes me really, really excited to taste it, so I'm just going to go right into it. Oh, yeah, so it's hot, but it's not hot where that's a negative. It's, anybody that knows me knows I like a lot of bourbon whiskey influence. So you definitely get a lot of barrel on this, which is good. I know some of the other beers that used to be great that are barrel aged, like in some of the Michigan, like the like your old Backwoods Bastard from Founders, and the old what was it? What's the brewery? Dark Horse. Dark Horse used to have really nice, strong barrel influence on their beers, and in recent years, those have faded to hardly being able to notice the barrel. Well, you're not getting that with this. The barrel is punching me in the mouth, and that's a good thing. But I wouldn't classify it hot that overpowers the rest of the beer, which is a lot of, definitely the dark fruits. Let's just taste another couple sips, and I'll give you more descriptors. The first thing I notice is a wonderful mouthfeel. It's probably about 90% of a beer you can chew. It's really full-bodied, really tasty, a lot of barrel influence. I'm getting dark fruits, plums, raisins, a little bit of chocolate and caramel, and maybe some toffee. So all the good stuff that you look for in a solid barrel-aged stout. But what stands out to me is, they have 3 different whiskey barrels this was aged in, and you can tell this is not for the weak. If you don't like a lot of whiskey barrel influence, you will not be pleased with it. But, it's 24 karat gold, and as far as I'm concerned, it's worth the gold bar. I don't remember what I paid for this, but it wasn't too outrageous. For a 12-ounce can, probably, anywhere $6 to $8. I'd have to look at my invoice, but it's worth every dime. It's fantastic beer. Mason Ale Works, I've had a lot of their beers. Thankful to be able to get their brews out here in Arizona, and this is one of the best I've ever had from them. So they do some great IPAs, and pretty much one of those breweries where you can count on, quality every time, and I won't hesitate to pay a little bit extra for a good quality beer like this. So great beer by Mason Ale Works, and thank you again, Rebecca, and everybody at Tap and Bottle. I know this is a tough time for businesses like yours, but we appreciate you stepping up and taking care of us, and I will be loyal to you and take care of you with funneling my business your way. You rest assured that you have that pledge from me to as a thank you to what you do for your customers. So hang in there and keep fighting the good fight. And, again, I can't commend them enough for making the shopping experience safe, sanitary, and healthy. They go the extra mile, even to the point where you're not supposed to touch the cooler door or anything. They'll get it for you. So great job, Tap and Bottle. So let's move on to Ross in North Carolina.
Hey, it's good to be back on. It's been a little bit, but I wanted to start a little bit. So the beer I'm going to talk about, a little bit background on both the beer and why it was made, and where it was made, actually. So the beer I chose tonight was Wookiees and Cream, which was a lower ABV stout. It comes in at 4.9, I think. And it's made by a brewery here in Durham, Starpoint Brewing, which is co-located with a Bottle Shop Beer Study, which JR has been to in the past, visiting me. And it's a nice little setup. It's a 40 tap setup with the with the co-location. The brewery is right in the back, and so they keep around 10 or 12 taps open for the brewery that's there, and then the other 30-ish taps are for standard rotating other kinds of craft beers. And Starpoint is just a nice local, used to be in Carborough, now in Durham brewery, that they decided to do this storefront opportunity with the Bottle Shop so that, it's a two-way collaboration. The brewery gets kind of a tap room out of it, and the Bottle Shop gets a brewery, co-located there that's kind of an attraction for people to come see. The door is wide open. You can look back in the back and see all the brewing equipment, all that good stuff. So while it's two separate businesses, they're kind of operating as one, and it makes for a nice little effect when you come in. The second thing I wanted to talk about with this beer was this was actually a small 4-barrel batch beer that was brewed as part of a for a charity event. For one of my friends has a charitable organization called Why We Hike, It is a sarcoma awareness charity. His father-in-law died sarcoma about 10 years ago. And so he started this charity as to benefit the Sarcoma Foundation of America. So this beer was brewed as a special beer to have at the Sarcoma Awareness charity event that we had in February. And so we had, there were some blind auctions, some charity raffle kind of things. Different local businesses had donated, gift certificates and that kind of thing, or tours of various places, and they raised a fair amount of money for the Sarcoma Awareness Foundation that night. So that my friend's organization can be found at whywehike.org, which is his way of raising money is through hiking, and this was just an event to raise awareness for both his charity organization and the Sarcoma Foundation of America at the same time. So getting into the beer itself, I said it was a small 4-barrel batch beer. It's called Wookiees and Cream, and the idea was they wanted to use an Oreo base as the additive for the beer. They decided from the beginning they did nice. They decided from the beginning that they didn't want anything that was going to be overly sweet. They wanted it to be more like a straight lower ABV stout, just with the addition of a little bit of the cookie. So what they did was they found where you could buy the ice cream sandwich cookie pieces for Oreo ice cream sandwiches, but just the cookie. So they weren't getting any of the cream from the Oreo, just the dark cookie pieces. They put 23 pounds of the cookies into the beer, and a little bit of vanilla and a little bit of lactose later, and they had what they wanted. It is not any kind of sweet, what you would consider a pastry stout by any means. It really is a kind of straight, a straight kind of traditional stout. It has a little bit of a chocolate taste to it, but it's not sweet. A little bit of a vanilla hint to it. On the smell, it doesn't really come through in the taste as much. So let me go ahead and refresh mine. I got some in a growler today, and I'm just going to refresh my glass a little bit. I've been sipping on it as we go along. Since this one works out as a much lower ABV than I normally have, I felt safe in imbibing a little ahead of time. It comes with not a lot of head to it, a little bit of lacing on the side. It is a very dark beer. It pours really thick. It seems to have the heaviness to it that you tend to think about the stouts that I like to go after that are more motor oily, but it's a little bit less than that. It's certainly opaque, and it certainly looks, I think, like it might be a heavier beer than it actually is. On the smell, like I said, we've got a little bit of the cookie smell there, a little bit of an earthy smell too from just the base stout, and there's just a little bit of vanilla on the smell from what they've added. Tasting it, it's just a nice smooth. It's a nice smooth beer. There's not. Like I said, I expect when you hear Oreo that it's going to be maybe a sweeter pastry kind of concoction, but this isn't. It comes in very close to like your basic stout taste, but with just that slightly chocolate contribution from the cookie, and just a very faint hint of that vanilla at the end. So what this comes out for me is it's something that I can sort of drink a lot of over a long period of time, which worked out well on the night of the charity event. Because we could keep having glasses of this and keep up with everything else that was going on in the charity and not have to worry too much about getting things out of hand. As coming in at a little under 5%, it certainly works out if you're going to have multiple glasses of this as opposed to something that would have been closer to 10 or higher. The taste is what I would expect of a nice, easy drinking base stout, again with that little extra chocolate and a little vanilla on it. It just makes something that you're comfortable drinking and having a conversation with. Don't need to sip it, can go ahead and have some mouthfuls at a time. It pairs well with, we actually had some Oreos on hand at the event, and some other small food as well. And all around, this was a very enjoyable beer. When we went to go do this episode, I went to go check the online tap lists, and I know they hadn't made much of it. Like I said, it was a 4-barrel batch, but I saw that this was back on tap, so I kindly put in my order for a growler of this, and went and picked it up earlier today, along with a couple other goodies off the shelf. So Beer Study, like John mentioned, is offering curbside pickup. They also offer delivery here in Durham. I opted for the curbside pickup just because I figured it'd make it a little easier for them, and I wanted to get out of the house for a little while. So when you get there, they do have a sign on the door, like many other places. They're only allowing 3 customers in the store at a time. If you do want to go in, you can. But I'm sure they're taking the same kinds of precautions John described at the other stores. There's a very limited amount of customers. You have to maintain a distance with any other customer in the store, that kind of thing. But they're doing what they can to get by. I don't know if other bottle shops are doing what the owner of Beer Study is doing, but he's added a selection of food and snacks above and beyond what the bar kind of normally had, as additional kind of food items that you can get if you choose to buy them from them as well. So that's about it. I just I'm enjoying this as a nice easy drinker. It might even be considered perhaps a lawnmower stout to some extent, because I cut the grass today. So it's a nice, easy, long-term enjoyment for me to have a growler of this, and hopefully I won't go through it all tonight. So, cheers.
Awesome review and awesome place, man. I just loved being there. You know, not only do you have a great bottle shop, you have great people that work there, knowledgeable people, and you also have a brewery there, you know, that makes, you know, locally brewed beer. So it's like the best of all worlds. Probably my favorite stop when I was in the Durham area, and of course then the last visit we also made our way out to Asheville, where there was a whole other set of great breweries. What a great beer state North Carolina is. So appreciate you joining us, Ross, and reviewing that, and good memories of my time at Beer Study and in North Carolina in general with the beer adventures, and hopefully we'll do it again soon. Certainly the next time the Eagles make it to Carolina and we get through this mess we're in now. I look forward to a return trip to visit all my North Carolina beer friends. And so thanks, Russ, and
ChristopherMedia.net.
It's 50 years of the ShopRite Can Sale. 5 decades of unbeatable deals and this unforgettable song.
Now, ShopRite does the can, selling lots of brands of everything in cans.
Today, cash, so the ShopRite Can Dash. You'll save so much on every brand.
Now's the time to shop at ShopRite's Can Dash.
Now's the time to stock up and save. Now's the time to stock up and celebrate. Celebrating the 50th anniversary of the ShopRite Can Sale. Stock up and save at ShopRite.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
ChristopherMedia.net.
It's now kind of the halftime of our show, and we are fortunate to have our resident beer industry news expert with us, our correspondent, Z Beerman. So we're going to turn it over to Z Beerman for the industry news.
Hey, John. Hey, guys. Yeah, it's been a crazy bunch of weeks, but I wanted to share with you, we had just gotten in all of the 2019 beer category growth for U.S. craft brewers, both for all the small independent and everything that classifies as a craft brewer in the U.S. And so, over 3 straight years of continued double-digit growth, and 2019 wasn't any different, up 13.6%, which makes the dollar value. You think about how small these little breweries are, but
$29.3 billion. And so a 4% growth in dollars, which a lot of money. So they made craft breweries in the U.S. made over 26 million barrels, which is up from 25 million in 2018. It's quite a dramatic increase when you think about how small some of these breweries are. So the U.S. right now, with the exception of what happens after COVID, but right now there's 2,966 tap rooms, 3,011 brew pubs, 2,058 identified as microbreweries, and there's 240 regional breweries. And going back, John, to when you and I got in the business, there was 76 breweries total in the U.S. that we were operating.
Wow.
Yeah. So for a total of operating breweries, meaning not that they just have licenses, because you have a federal permit, which people get before they break ground and start a brewery. But these are actual operating breweries in the U.S. for 2019 was 8,275, and that includes everything that can make beer that has a license. So there were 942 new openings in 2019 and 294 closings. And they calculate that the craft brewers employ 161,000 people. So pretty amazing. 7% growth over the previous year. And I share that with you because, we think of craft breweries and microbreweries as very small, and they are, but there's so many of them, and every year we get more. So that I thought was really something to talk about. And the other part that was interesting, and you maybe know this, but first and second year breweries got almost half of all of the growth in the craft category. And these breweries are tiny, just starting out, 50 to 60 barrels. I mean, just tiny ones. So it's really interesting how these smaller ones are starting up and they're capturing this share. That being said, the total capacity is flat for the year. So they're getting this growth by stealing it from each other right now. And that's what the major breweries have been doing over the years. Just kind of, there's only so much stomach, they call it, right? So whether it's a share of stomach, whether it's soft drinks or water or liquor, that share of stomach, there's only so much everyone can drink. And then those little categories become subsegments of share of stomach. And we're seeing that these smaller breweries, God bless them. They're continue to propagate and survive, and they're able to make small amounts of great products and stay alive. So the other interesting thing is that half of all the U.S. breweries in 2019 were under 400 barrels. You can't think about 400 barrels. That's 800 kegs of beer. That's half of the U.S. breweries. It's quite a feat. So, 31 gallons in a barrel, and that's 12, 13 cases of beer. Not a whole lot. But that being said, there's also a lot of craziness going on because of COVID. But if you have your products out there in the market, they're being snapped up. There are some logistics shortfalls just trying to get product to market as we are figuring out how to deliver differently. But if your product is, especially if it's in cans and it's out there in the trade, it's selling. So that's all good news there. We are seeing, though, that sales of California craft beer is down. And they're still trying to figure out exactly if that's coronavirus or if it's people drinking seltzers or some other problem that's going on in the state of California, but down 12 to 13%. That's one of the few states that are down. Some of the other interesting things that have gone on is, regulations for alcoholic beverages have been changing almost on a daily basis, depending on the state that you're standing in, whether it's, delay of payment of federal excise tax, state excise tax, or on-premise accounts, bars and restaurants being able to sell beer to go, growlers to go, even paper cups filled up with a plastic lid on it to go. So all these laws are changing quickly to be able to keep people in business. But there's also some places that there's lax as you think it's going to be. Things get tighter, and one of the items in the news that I thought was a little crazy was that the regulators are cracking down on Maui Brewing for giving away sanitizer with any purchase. So it didn't matter if you bought beer or not, but they were going to give you free sanitizer, and they got fined for because they said it could be construed as being a condition of a purchase of beer to get you free sanitizer, which is just crazy. John, have you ever heard anything like that?
Yeah, as a Philly fan, I'm just going to boo that. Come on, man. I mean, trying to do something nice for the community. Yeah. They got to give you a waiver for that. That's bogus, man. I'm sorry. I saw that article.
State. I'm very surprised. So they made 3,000 gallons of sanitizer out of their product, out of their brewery, and they were giving it away 16 ounces at a time, and they gave most of it away to first responders and hospitals, but they did have some there because people were asking for it, and they said, well, you buy anything and we'll give you one. I guess someone reported them.
So sadly, now they have to sell it instead of giving it away like they were trying to do a good deed.
Exactly. And the folks that are there in Hawaii, there's no tourists anymore, very few tourists. They're all just the regular bras that are going around there, and they hang out. They're the regulars, and gosh, they're just trying to get them some sanitizer, but they weren't going to just give everyone one for free, right?
Book them, Dano.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Another weird thing, I don't know if you saw this, but Wild Goose is launching Gosling mini cans. They have this mini can line. They have these mini cans that are coming out. Did you see that? I don't know.
I have a couple mini cans from Starving Artist Brewery in Ludington, Michigan.
Huh. Right.
I'll have to post a picture on our Instagram account. They're like little 8-ounce mini cans. They're awesome. It's an Imperial Stout, too. I'll post it on the Beer Nuts site for you guys to see, but then I'll post it on our Instagram for our listeners.
So I know that we also have been talking about the donations that the breweries are making to various charities, and just some shout outs. Shiner donated $500,000 to the Texas Restaurant Relief Fund. Boston Beer, they just reported they had $130 million in cash, and they donated $2.1 million to support bar and restaurant workers impacted by the pandemic. I thought that was very nice of them. Your old company, Husa, Heineken USA, they also made a big donation along with the owners, to 15 million euros to the Red Cross. So I thought that was very nice and deserved a little shout out. And if I miss somebody that you know of, please let me know. Again, there's a lot of things that are going on right now. It's hard to keep track or filter things out, fact from fiction. But one thing that's interesting right now, and we're actually building plans on how do you go back out to market. And I was reading this interesting article called "The Hammer and the Dance," which pretty much says, hey, let everybody out, and as soon as you get an outbreak, drag everybody back in again, which just sounds like something that we're going to have to do, because we're not going to stay home very much longer. We're all getting antsy. And then in keeping with your theme, I believe I bounced this to you, and you had some comments on this company called Tavour, Tavour.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're trying to connect via their app local breweries for home delivery. I guess they're challenged in some of the states, and you had some experience as well. Anyone else in the group use them or try them?
Yeah, I tried, but they used to deliver to Arizona, but I guess the Gestapo stepped in and said you can't deliver to Arizona anymore, so I can't get anything from them here. But the other one that I guess nationwide is big is Drizzly.
Yeah, Drizzly grew 583%. I was reading just. And a lot of it is alcohol, any form of alcohol. So yeah, Drizzly's big and getting bigger. This Tavour is trying to navigate. Sounds to me like they have, some great engineers, but they need some better lawyers to help navigate the laws of each individual state. As I have to explain to everyone who's not in the industry, is our industry is not the United States. It is the ununited 50 different states with 50 different alcoholic beverage laws, and 51 if you include DC, 52 if you include Puerto Rico. It's really hard to navigate. But this particular company, this Tavour, they're donating $5 pretty much for every order to fight for legislation that makes it easier for independent breweries to serve their fans, which sounds to me a little self-serving, since they're also trying to figure out the laws. Did you have some comments there, John?
I wanted to give a shout out to something I saw on a Michigan brewery, Griffin Claw Brewing out of Birmingham, Michigan, right in Doug's backyard, agreed to buy back all their kegs that are in the market now, not just in the market, but in their distributor's warehouse. They said all their distributors will buy back all your kegs. So when we get out of this and we get on the other side of this, we will be poised to deliver you fresh beer. We don't want to have stale beer going out when things open up. I just thought that was like a way over the top, unbelievable gesture to, they didn't have to do that. They could just say, you bought it and it's your problem. But, that's a way to step up. I just think I got to give them props for that.
Oh, absolutely. What state was that in?
Michigan.
It's right down the street from me. They're turning that beer into hand sanitizer. They've got a process. So what they've been doing with all their curbside pickups is handing out free hand sanitizer with any order.
And unlike Hawaii, it's actually loud.
It's perfectly fine here. So, if I'd been able to get out, I would have probably picked something up from them and gave a talk about them. I think I mentioned maybe an episode or two ago about the free hand sanitizer they were giving out. But that's what they're doing with that beer. They can just recycle it and reuse it and help people out.
Well, let me tell you, that may be what they think they want to do with it. Of course, best intention. But another article that I didn't know was going to be relevant. So AB distributors aren't able to give back any money to Michigan distributors. So AB can't give back anything to any of the Michigan distributors because of a Michigan law. So you were telling me this was a Michigan brewery. So under Michigan law, suppliers can't provide refunds. So they have to figure out another way to do it. Maybe they'll have to give them gift cards.
I think what they're doing, Chris, is I think they're going to replace whatever product has been returned with fresh product when they open up again. One other thing I wanted to add, moving outside of Michigan, is I spoke to my old Heineken distributor in Nevada, and they're sitting on 20,000 kegs in their warehouse that they can't sell because there's no on-premise in all of Las Vegas. And they said there's at least another 4,000 or 5,000 kegs out in the market. So
we've got that in one distributor in LA. We have that much.
So, there's a lot of product out there that is just going to completely be wasted, and it's a shame that we can't find a way to liquidate this product, or at least like Griffin Claw, maybe take it back and distill it into hand sanitizer. But what a travesty! But I guess that's why we have insurance, and hopefully those distributors have coverage. I'm sure they do, but still, really unbelievable when I heard that 20,000 barrels sitting in a warehouse in Vegas, and that's just one wholesaler. There's probably 100,000 in the whole town.
Well, one of my projects, which I've been working on, is trying to calculate each distributor, each keg, when that keg is supposed to go out of code, and try to project when the disaster is going to happen. So I can tell you right now, it's July, not just for our company, but for every company. That's when it starts. And it's going to be very similar to the graph you see with the virus. It's going to have a peak, and that peak will be around the end of August, and then it'll go down from there. But certainly, it's a major disaster for the breweries, and the larger your brewery is, the more susceptible you are to the amount of inventory that's sitting out there. And what to do with the inventory is a bigger question, right? You couldn't make enough hand sanitizer. It would be processing it. There's probably 10-year supply of hand sanitizer in all the warehouses. But it's all throughout the logistics system, right? It's every retailer, every beer distributor, every brewery that has all of these kegs just sitting in, and the clock is ticking.
We've all seen these videos from Prohibition when they crack down and they have all these kegs that they're pouring out down the drain, and it's just when I see that, it almost tears come to my eyes. All that great liquid being wasted, and I think that's what we're going to see here, unfortunately. And maybe it won't be as publicized as when Prohibition, but it's sad. It's sad.
Well, it's an environmental hazard too. That much of it. Where do you can't just dump all of that anywhere in any one single spot. You'll overwhelm all of the water systems and all the waterways. So we really have to put our heads together and figure out what to do with it. It's not beer battered onion rings for the next 50 years, but we've got to figure out what to do with it. Maybe there is, some way to turn it into something that can be used as a fuel or some sort of animal feed. But certainly, better heads have to figure that out than a bunch of beer nuts. But certainly, the call goes out to the folks to come up with some good ideas to help alleviate the stress and the pain and the hazard of having all this stuff just sitting around aging. Maybe a big party at your house.
Could be. No social distancing for now, though.
Yeah.
I know that one of the things one of the North Carolina distilleries says was in lieu of anybody pouring out their beer, and this is in addition to doing the hand sanitizer thing I know some places are doing, they were going to try to distill the beer into some kind of spirit. They said they've used beers, distilled, mixes of beers before, and they've come out with something that was very brandy-like at the end. So they, I know that's something that, that only accounts for a very small percentage of the beer that's out there that's going to have something done with it. But that's another thing that they were looking to do with it. Like, we can maybe, instead of you dumping it, we can buy it at cost and make a spirit out of it too. So they were looking into doing that.
So
maybe we should just call in FEMA.
A COVID 190 proof spirit. Anyway, John, that's all I got.
ChristopherMedia.net.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth, and always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done. There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth, and as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast, and check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth, and always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Thank you for the news, Z. Not all of it's good, but I am glad that you talked about the growth that continued in 2019. I don't know where we go from here, but I like what you also said, that the support of new breweries, new smaller breweries. One thing you'll find out about craft beer consumers is they're always up for a discovery, and when something new comes around, they're always going to at least take a gander and try it and see what the new brewery is all about. And I wrote an article not too long ago that I published on LinkedIn that detailed that the craft beer bubble has not burst, but it should be focused on the local. You don't want to be in the grocery stores right now. You just want to be the local neighborhood brewery. That's where the opportunity lies, in my opinion. So enough about the industry. I'd like to open up the floor to any homebrew updates. Dugout, John Golden, anything?
Yes, I got an update.
Go ahead, Doug.
This last weekend I brewed it may be pretty close to a double IPA territory. I think it's going to come in at about 8.2%. American IPA. I used a little bit of experimental hop, but also some Nugget and Amarillo and Citra, some Amarillo cryo hops in the dry hop, and then I'm going to add some lemon drop to it. So that beer is coming along very nicely. The basement, I did the cryo hop edition yesterday, and the whole basement smells like hop flowers. It's amazing. And then I was able to tap my Newcastle Brown Ale clone, and that came out fantastic. Thanks to John Golden's water build, we nailed the Burton Trent water profile to a T, and I think, in my opinion, that's 75% of the beer flavor right there. It's super malty, and it's just got the perfect carbonation on it right now.
Yeah, I think water profiles is something that for a home brewer is the difference between making good beer and making great beer. And if you can figure it out and get your water to match a certain profile. And granted, in Michigan, we're starting out with actually some of the best tasting water in the world, just because of the Great Lakes. So we actually have to do things to our water to, I guess, make it less tasty.
Yeah, you got to kind of dumb it down a little bit, unfortunately.
Yeah, you got to add salts and minerals and things to get it to take on the water profile, and especially like the traditional water profile. Some of these Bavarian water profiles and English water profiles weren't necessarily from the most pristine lakes and rivers and things, and they have a lot of sulfites in them and a lot of minerals and impurities and stuff that actually makes for really good beer. But
our local water does make great porters and stouts. You can just, with a little bit of dechlorinization, you can just go right off the tap, basically.
Yeah, and our water is also great for IPAs and pilsners and any, really kind of any lighter, especially lighter colored beer. As long as you have the right amount of sulfites.
Well, hey, I think it's great that you guys were able to nail that Burton on Trent. That's a tough water style to emulate, even back in Michigan where we have Great Lakes water. I mean, I remember brewing in Grosse Ile, we had great water, but I remember reading articles about how difficult it is to actually, it's almost impossible to replicate that. So if you guys even dialed in close to it, which it sounds like you did, that's a great achievement in itself.
Yeah, I think I had every category of component, every component, and there was like 6 or 7 of them all dialed in within like 1 or 2%. So yeah, I was at the point where if I add more of this, it takes this other thing out of balance. So it was right there.
Well, as you all know, or as most of you know, Dugout and I worked for Newcastle back when it was a great Northern English brown ale, before Heineken bastardized the brand and took the brewing out of the UK, first to Holland, and now it's actually brewed in the United States under Lagunitas, which, that's fine. It's probably still a good beer, but it's not a Northern English brown ale, and it's not what we sold. And what we sold was a great traditional Northern English beer, a classic style, and it was representative of that style that I was proud to be a part of that heritage. It's a shame that it's gone away, but I have already lobbied Doug hard to send me a bottle or two of that in the near future. So good job on that, man. Glad that you brewed it, and I can't wait to taste it.
Yep. And then I had one other quick thing I wanted to mention. This is something that was posted by one of the Kuhn Guild of Brewers, or the KGB members in our Doug and my beer club. And this was a guy who he put a post up that he'd had been having issues with a tilt hydrometer that he has. Excuse me. And I know there's quite a few people in our club that have those, and I have been actually kind of thinking about getting one, and I've been doing some research on them. And they basically, you throw it right in your fermenter, and you get a I think it's a Bluetooth signal from it that will give you the gravity without having to open up your fermenter and expose your beer to oxygen. And you don't have to worry about sanitizing a thief or anything, so you can get real-time readings off of it. And all the research I've done basically said it's not exact, but the biggest thing is it will let you know that fermentation is done. So this guy Brian got one of these last summer, and said it worked in a couple of batches, although he didn't have it quite calibrated right. And then the battery died. He replaced the battery. It worked in one batch, but not another 6 weeks later, so he replaced the battery again. Was having a bunch of problems with it. And he says he reached out to Tilt by email and got some troubleshooting advice and talked to them a bit. And they are sending him a brand new replacement unit, no questions asked. So I thought that was a great example of some good customer service, and it's kind of taken me from, the fence, I guess, of trying to decide whether I really want to get one of these to I think I'm definitely going to now, just because of the customer service, and they stand behind their product. So anybody who's looking for a tilt hydrometer, I guess I would definitely recommend it now.
All right, good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Thank you for the home brewing corner. I think that we got three thirsty Michiganders ready to review some beers. So let's go to Greg in Dearborn for his beer.
Yeah, we sure are getting thirsty over here. Thanks, guys. Great news, and I'm all I can think about now is beer battered onion rings. So, Christy, thank you so much. I appreciate that. So, what I'm bringing to the table here is in what I had actually home delivered. Comes from Ascension Brewing Company out of Novi, Michigan. This is their lemon cream pie. It's a fruited sour ale with lemon peels, marshmallow, vanilla bean, and lactose. And as this was canned early April and went on sale about April 9th, something like that. It took me 3 tries to get this because roughly 65 cases went about 10 minutes, 12 minutes. So it took some persistence, but I was able to secure a 4-pack and along with another one. And the next day they were nice enough to drop it off at my side door. So I definitely appreciate Ascension for everything they did. And of course I put it in my new Ascension glass, which I also ordered online for them. So definitely had to, support them in multiple ways. So 7%. 16-ounce can. I think it was 20 IBUs. This thing pours out just a cloudy, like a pale, almost like a pale ale, like a New England IPA type, look to it. Can't see hardly through it. You can see maybe, my finger back and forth on the back of the glass with a little light there, but for the most part, it is just cloudy as can be. As soon as I popped the can, just absolute, lemon pie, like fruity, sugary, with that tartness, lemon just filled the air. And just as, first a couple sniffs of the glass here, I mean, it's just that's all I get. I mean, lemons, and you get that vanilla sweetness, and it's just to me it's very intoxicating. So thirsty here, so let's take a sip here. Very good, very very good. I mean, for the type of weather we're experiencing today here in Michigan, which is currently 35 degrees, and depending if where you're at, Dugout and John Golden up there probably getting snow, but we're seeing like ice pellets down here, which is ridiculous for the end of April. But like Steve said earlier in his review, this is be a killer warm weather type beer, just sitting out, enjoying the outdoors, sunshine, all that. It's just full of lemons and that lemon citrusy oil, like from the peel itself, and the vanilla marshmallow sweetness in there, like you're getting like the topping of the lemon cream pie. It says graham crackers in there, but I'm kind of lacking a little bit on the taste of the graham cracker. But for what it is, it's a delicious beer. I was glad to support these guys, as well as my other favorite of Holmes. They're doing releases so often as well, but I'm definitely glad to support these guys throughout our struggle here, and hopefully things end up on a positive note coming up here, so we can continue enjoying great beers. But to say that I have enjoyed these online order sessions. They've been really easy to place an order in, and then even go and picking up a beer. And really, I'm spending 5 minutes there because they've got all their systems down pat. From just basically calling in, saying you're here, and popping your trunk, and your beer's loaded, and off you go. So it's been a well-oiled machine, and my hat's off to these guys. They're doing a great job, and continued success.
Greg, I can't thank you enough for reviewing an Ascension beer, because when I was teaching in the Schoolcraft College program, Adam Zapp from Ascension was a real big a help to us. He came to my class. He spoke to my students. He was very engaged in the brewing community. Just a great guy, very humble, and he runs the show over there at Ascension, and really happy that they're continuing to stay afloat and do what they need to do to get good beer into good hands. I mean, man, they have some great stuff there. The Gorilla Juice is off the charts. And
yep, their IPs are fantastic. Fruited sours, everything's good.
Never had a bad beer there. Always enjoyed going to their tap room. I know you can't do that now, but it's great that they can bring beer to you, or you can go pick it up curbside. Really happy that you reviewed one of their beers. It was a beer that I've never had, and I wish I could try it. One of the things you said about the weather up there, we all have choices. So I don't miss the weather in Michigan, but I do miss the beer community and people like Adam and, frankly, you guys, my Beer Nuts friends. I do dearly miss the beer community that I left behind there. I don't miss the roads or the weather, but it's a great beer state, and Steve B and I have often talked about one day coming back for a Michigan Brewers Guild festival to reunite with all of us, and we'll get there. We'll get through this crisis,
sure.
And one day we're going to make that happen. And I'm sure Steve agrees. He can't wait for that day, and I can't either. So, thanks for including an Ascension beer. Great brewery. Anybody listening from Michigan, if you're in Eastern Michigan, patronize these guys, help them stay afloat. Great people, great beers. So let's move over to Clausen to Dugout.
Okay. Well, I have a beer. I think I mentioned them before as a delivery beer, and it's from Urban Rest Brewing Company. They're in Ferndale, Michigan. It's free delivery as long as you get over $25. And that's not hard to do. I think my initial order was like $140 with a tip. So, and it went pretty quick because all the beers are really good. One thing that Urban Rest is known for is brewing to style properly and doing it very well. So I have one of those brewed to style beers tonight, and this is an English Dark Mild. It comes in at 4.9% ABV. You pour it, kind of a nice dark bronze color to it. Almost looks sort of like caramel. It's got a really nice, a fluffy head on it and some good lacing. Let's drink this bad boy up. So on the nose, you get some real earthy notes, a little bit of floral, a little bit of grassiness, but very subtle. You do get some kind of roast, not quite roasted malt, but some bready malt smells on it. And the first sip is it's as advertised. It's mild. It's clean. It's got a very bready and sort of earthy flavor to it. It's very mild in the hops. And hold on a second. John Golden, quit. All right, edit that out. Okay. So, all right. Lost a total train of thought there. Thanks, dude. All right. So this beer is drinking really nice. It's, as I mentioned, 4.9, very sessionable. Urban Rest is a great little spot. It's not so small, but it's quaint. It's an old machine shop, and there's a lot of different tables put around it. They're pretty spread out pretty far. They have some food available, some charcuterie, but then they have food trucks pretty much every night that roll up. So really a cool spot, cool people, good beers. They also make kombucha, and man, glad they can deliver. I might call them up tomorrow.
Yeah, man. I wish they'd deliver to me in Arizona, but I was telling Doug out earlier, I live about 10 miles from everything. So I did neglect on my review to say that Tap and Bottle does deliver within a 5-mile radius, but I'm 20 miles from there, so I will be curbside picking up. But anyway, Urban Rest, I've been there. Great. One of my students used to work there. Great spot, man. Great beers. And God, if I could only, again, that's the only thing. Well, not the only thing. One of the things I truly miss about Michigan is the great beer community that. I got 82 degrees and sunny days here, but I do miss a lot of things about it, and that's mostly the people in the brewery. So thanks for including that, Dugout. And we have one final. The grand finale goes to John Golden tonight. So we're going to Royal Oak.
All right. This is John from Royal Oak, and today it was actually a curbside pickup from our friends Gary and Gordy over at Cadillac Straits Brewing Company in Madison Heights. And I have their Duncan's Irish Stout. It's a Irish Dry Stout. It checks in at 5.3 ABV and 30 IBUs. Their description says it's a medium body with prominent notes of coffee, dark chocolate, and roasted grains, and the subtle earthy hops complement the arrangement. So let me crack this guy open and see whether we agree with that. Well, first of all, this is pouring a nice dark brown. There's a little bit of kind of some dark copper notes in the color a little bit. Has a very nice healthy head on it. I poured this into a pint glass and got about an inch worth of head. It's a nice tan color, a little bit creamy, and it's actually sticking around for quite a bit here. So let me take a sip here. And okay, well, first impressions, definitely roasty. The chocolate is there. It's not a super dark bitter chocolate, but it is it's definitely not a milk chocolate. It's not any kind of a pastry stout or milk stout or anything like that. It's definitely dry Irish stout. It's kind of medium to low body. It's got a nice little hop bite to it. Nothing out of the ordinary or out of style. It's a nice earthy, maybe a little bit floral, but definitely noble hop variety type of characteristic. Pretty good taste in beer here. The head is kind of settled down now. There's just a little bit of persistence on it, but it definitely has gone from that inch down to just a little bit at the top. It's a nice beer. I think it's I think they did a pretty good job on it, and the convenience of just pulling up in front of the store and actually them knowing you and recognizing your car and coming right out the door with it is definitely a bonus. So cheers to Gordy and to Gary for their Duncan's Irish Stout.
Cool. Sounds fantastic.
Yeah, they do some good beers over there. And boy, the brew supply store is great. You can pretty much get everything you need, and they run it up for you and have it in a bag waiting for you, and they run it right out to your car.
Yeah, you know what? It hasn't been that long since I've gone from Michigan. That sounds familiar. That does not sound familiar to me. Are they new? Or did they just fly under the radar?
Have they even been open a year yet, Doug? I don't think they're coming up on a year, or they may have passed a year, and they can't do an anniversary even because. But yeah, they were doing a whole bunch of soft openings, and then they would just open until the beer ran out, and then and that had to be right about a year ago.
Yeah, because they actually have two. Technically, they're two different operations there. They have the supply house at Cadillac Straits, which is a home brew store, and they pretty much sell everything. I will have to say is they generally have everything in stock, and if they don't have something in stock, they're right there with a good substitute for you. They're knowledgeable about, if they're missing a certain grain, they don't just pick something that has the same Lovabond color, but they actually, they know that, this is a grain that's supposed to impart this sort of characteristic to your beer, and they'll recommend something else that will give you that. They've got, all equipment and, yeast and hops and, everything you need. And then they also, when they first opened, they just opened the supply store. And then they opened the actual Cadillac Straits Brewing Company, which is actually, they've got a restaurant and a bar. So they're serving all their own beers. I believe they make, I think they'll have a cider on tap occasionally, or maybe all the time. I think I'm not a big cider fan, but I do notice it because it's taking up a tap spot that they could put a beer on, but that's just my opinion. It's been right around a year. I think maybe definitely a year for the supply house, and maybe not quite a year for the restaurant portion, but Gary's been I think was he president, or well, he was definitely an officer in the KGB.
Yeah, he was the president for 2 years, I believe.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the only reason I brought it up is because I don't recall seeing that before I moved away, so it must have been after I moved away from Michigan. So.
Yeah, and they definitely got they're in Madison Heights, right on John R. between 11 and 12 Mile. So they're, demographically and geographically, they kind of filled in a nice hole where there wasn't really, there really isn't anything else, around there that, especially that offers the supplies. Living in Royal Oak, it's like the closest place for me to go prior to that would be to go to Kunin's, which is, it's not too far, but it's a good, 20-minute drive. Or I'd have to go down to Taylor to the Adventures in Home Brewing. That's a good half hour, 45 minutes. And, there's some other places that are even further out. So Now they're 10 minutes away, and they've got everything I need, so I love it.
Alrighty then. Well, great spot.
Well, JR, it's just it's right up the street from where Sellerman's used to be.
Okay.
About a mile north of where Sellerman's was, a little bit more.
That's a good little spot to fill where there's a void. Good job then. All right, man. Well, this was a good show. We covered a lot of topics. Great beer news. Thanks, Z Beerman. We covered some great beers and some great places that are taking care of us during these challenging times. Please support your local breweries and your local tap rooms, your local beer stores. Tap and Bottle here in Tucson. Thank you for everything you do. And every beer store out there that is, basically battling to stay afloat and delivering customer service, delivering, offering curbside or online. A lot of people have had to go the extra mile to make this happen for us. And as beer consumers, we appreciate it. We really do. And I hope everybody will pledge support for all these businesses that are that really need our help right now. So buy a gift card, patronize your locals, drink local, and we're going to get through this. So thank you, all the beer nuts that participated. It was a great lineup tonight, all-star lineup. Great to have Ross back and, coast-to-coast coverage with Steve V. So, hey, it's a tough time for all of us, but we'll get through it. And one beer at a time, one day at a time, make it happen, right? Anybody closing comments? Anybody? The floor is open.
Just some follow-up for this episode. So San Marcos is south of Los Angeles, north of San Diego, and east of Oceanside.
Thank you for that, because on my next visit to SoCal, I want to go to Mason Ale Works. I've had several great beers for those guys. Have you ever been there, Steve?
No. I've had their stuff, but I haven't been to their brewery.
Well, yeah, we need to go, John. We need to definitely go.
Let's make it happen. We're on, Literally looking forward to bars opening up again and us being able to have camaraderie, but we all know that we got to stay safe. We got to do our part. So stay at home, get your delivery, get your curbside pickups, limit your exposure to this virus until such time as it's safe to go back out. So if there's no other comments, I think it's time to head to Mexico. Anybody? Last call. All right. Well, in the immortal words of Doug Tract, as they say in old Mexico City,
Amen. Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net. ChristopherMedia.net.
If you like this show, please tell a friend. Please make sure to rate and comment on all your favorite Christopher Media shows. Please follow us on Twitter and like and share us on Facebook. You can subscribe to all ChristopherMedia.net shows for free on ChristopherMedia.net. Thank you for listening, and thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.